Hello and welcome to the fourth session of four for City of Mist. And this is a Powered by the Apocalypse game, PbtA game of noir superheroes. But not exactly superheroes, more of a sort of a mythic struggle. People with these identities and powers that are a battle between their normal identity and this mythic identity, these stories that they carry within them. And this is a large game, came out last year, big book, no index. But anyway, it's a neat system. There's a lot of very cool stuff in it. I just want to mention if you're interested in City of Mist and you play online, Roll20, whoever did that sheet, put a lot of work into it. It is one of the neatest character sheets I've seen. It's really cool. It's worth using. It's well beyond my powers. But it does put all that stuff together. So we are coming in here to this session, and we're framing us sort of right at the beginning of the big scene. And so I want to summarize what's gone on in a kind of a loose way, and then I want to see if I've missed any crucial details. So basically, our group of characters, our group of sort of, how do we describe our crew? Masked vigilantes with a warehouse that is very nice but made up to look dirty and in the noir vein. Our group of masked vigilantes found out about a series of suspicious murders of highly placed philanthropists in the city. Weren't sure what the connection was, but eventually that led to a supernatural connection, the use of animals for the murders, and eventually with some various visions that occurred, they were put in the crosshairs of two different mythical forces. On the one hand, a legendary Russian mythology sorcerer by the name of Kolshi the Deathless, who actually attacked to the group, brought some trolls with him, but was taken out, but got away. On the other hand, Baba Yaga, with her magnificent chicken-legged Airstream trailer, the group kind of stumbled onto her and managed to defeat her. And captured her and brought her back to their base. They were able to put together that these two forces were, in fact, at odds, working against one another, but that they were looking for a third person, that they were looking for another one of these riffs, another one of these people who have these mythic stories in them, in particular, a person they called Anastasia. And there was some suggestion that she had a set of powers that they wanted, and that the murders that Baba Yaga had done were trying to get and find Anastasia, that these were people that Anastasia maybe had interacted with or used or something. And that was where we were last time when the game took a slight turn, and two of the group, our two younger members, Callie and Azita, decided to hit the streets and see what they could find, and essentially went to a club and found some information, but then went to go to Callie's, essentially the big gala opening of a show at the museum. Callie, still kind of reeling from some interactions with her mother, brought Azita along to make a demonstration and make a power play. And it was very visible, very well done. It went into the museum, big exhibit, lots of the high society of the city and so on. And Callie was able to crush her mother under her boot there, by showing her independence, and was able to clear some of that status away from her. On the other hand, back at the base, There was some good cop, good vigilante, bad vigilante, worse vigilante interactions with Baba Yaga, trying to get information from her. And in the course of that, eventually, Kyle, aka Ghostface, uh, you know, maybe did not have the best interaction with Baba Yaga and tried to expand his mythic powers in order to make a point to Baba Yaga and essentially to burn out the story from her. And this did not go well. It failed. It shattered some of Ghostface's identity. And Baba Yaga also used this opportunity to use her magics to escape. She then, Kyle then went out and spoke with Callie. They had had a relationship previously, and some of that baggage got pulled out onto the table there. I don't know if, in fact, at any point that Ghostface, I can't remember if you actually told Callie that Baba Yaga got away.
Irene.
Irene, sorry.
Yeah.
Told Irene that Baba Yaga got away.
That would be gross if
Yeah,
Callie and Kyle used to date. Anyway, no, I don't think I ever said it.
Yes. So the hook that we left on last time was with Kyle and Irene having discussed some of the things about this Russian mythics, and then seeing on the television the fact that Azita and Callie, were very visibly, on camera, arriving at this great show, which is a exhibition of treasures from Tsarist Russia, including multiple Fabergé eggs and crown jewels and all of that kind of thing, which are there at the museum. This is the opening night for the show, and those two are there, and you certainly got a sinking feeling because you were told that Anastasia is a kind of a thief. And so that's sort of where we left off last time. Did I leave anything major out of those details?
I think the only extra thing I remember was I think the tagline that Kyle and Irene left on was Irene turning to Kyle and going, "So what's going on with Baba Yaga?"
And so let's actually come back on that. Kyle, we kind of cut back after the to be continued thing. With those words sort of fading into the air, Kyle, how do you want to answer that? How do you want to deal with that?
I think I'll just. She ran away.
So the Baba Yaga fled the human's identity. What did that leave us?
Said that who she's chasing is someone called Anastasia, who's apparently a thief. Look, I think we gotta go and check on the young'uns.
That's probably a good sign. No, wait, you didn't mean the Baba Yaga got away. That's not what you said, right? No.
No, I said, yeah.
Oh, she got away.
She ran away.
She escaped.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Yes, we should go there right now. Get on the bike. Get on the bike.
Right.
And I assume, Kyle, that you've ridden on this bike before.
Maybe? I don't know. Have I?
Is it a new bike?
I'm pretty sure she would have probably gotten you on the bike at least once. Because Irene loves that bike.
Okay, I probably hate it.
Yes, it almost certainly, because it is really personalized to her, and the passenger seat is not very comfortable because she's usually soloing it on the bike. And she doesn't know that you can. I think she doesn't know that you can teleport through shadow yet.
No, I don't even know if I necessarily know that yet. And I think I actually really don't like how fast you go. I would never admit it, but that's why I don't like it.
She does go unhealthily fast with that thing. Like, that's one of its abilities is being way too fast.
And he will reluctantly get on the bike and take off. Let me ask you this though, Kyle, as you are riding on this insanely fast, super powered bike that is one of her theme books. She's personalized this and customized it. What piece of customization or detail on this bike maybe is a comment on your relationship?
Hmm. I don't know.
Does she still have something that you gave her? Is there something that you gave her that is, conspicuously not there?
I think it's actually my old badge. I think I left it like under the seat. And I'm not really sure why. It's not like I forgot it. I think it's just there. I forgot it at first. I think I was probably really drunk. And then I remembered that it's still there, but I don't feel like talking to her about it because she seems to get really upset when we talk about the fact that I'm not a cop anymore. I don't really get it. So it's always there, and every time I see the bike, I like remember that it's there.
Nice. Irene, what is the stunt to get yourself there faster that you do to distract from this previous conversation? How do you go overboard to try and put things out of your mind?
Well, other than the absolutely ridiculous speed for the conditions, I think she is doing just seriously terrible traffic violations. She is going full speed through alleys and cutting through like green space on sidewalks and crap like that. Like, it is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, and I think I'm like yelling from the backseat, "Can you stop breaking the law?"
I could, yes.
But yeah, so we'll see you.
I'm not going to.
Cutting on those medians, doing those sharp corner Akira turns when you hit the crosswalks. I mean, and we see you sailing towards downtown, towards the museum. And of course, we cut from that noise of the engine and the roar of the wind. We cut to the sound of the string quartet playing in the museum gala, the little tinkle of glasses, as one of the waiters comes over to you there, Callie, and says, "Champagne."
I'm like, yeah, keep them coming. I have already got like 2 glasses, one on each hand, and I'm double shotting this. Like, Azita, grab some.
Ma'am.
And Azita kind of reaches out and grabs some and downs it, grimaces, and kind of puts the empty thing back on the tray.
And Azita, what's your feeling now? Callie has done her scene. She's kind of dominated over her mother. There's this gala. How are you feeling right now?
So I think Azita is feeling a little bit out of place. So to compensate, she's got a little bit more swagger, a little bit more chip on her shoulder. And I think she's just biding her time until she can leave. I think she thinks most of this is done with.
Okay. And Callie, your sister will come over to you.
Oh boy. How is she looking?
She's looking well. I mean, this is kind of a coming out thing for her. But she'll come over and she goes, "Oh, Callie, I'm so glad you came."
I'm like, hey, congratulations on the engagement. I guess you could have called me or something.
It was so fast, and I assumed Mom would call you. I am so sorry.
No,
Is this
it's
your little
okay.
friend?
Oh yeah, this is Azita. Azita, this is my sister. This is oh my god, what am I gonna call him? This is Gwyneth.
Hello. And she'll reach out to take your hand.
Does she seem to be sincere, or is this kind of a snotty sarcasm kind of thing?
She you tell me.
Oh,
How are you reading it?
oh yeah. So
This is
right,
more of
so
a
far,
question of that.
yeah. So far, I'm seeing being sincere. So I think this is a little bit of a naive sister. So I think that so Azita just kind of reaches over and takes the hand and clumsily does like a little curtsy. She doesn't really know what the proper etiquette is here, and
I'm just so glad that Callie brought someone. Usually she comes by herself and she doesn't stay very long, and then she heads back to that big house. So it's nice to see somebody with her, one of her friends.
well, she's always very busy, and you know, she has lots of friends.
Oh, good. I'm very glad to hear that. That's great. Callie, did you talk to Mom? Is she all right?
Oh, I talked to her. She's a little tipsy at this point. She's like, I gave her a piece of my mind when I'm done with her shit, honestly. She's crossing the line with me and I'm not taking it anymore.
And you'll see Gwyneth kind of looks crestfallen because this is her big thing, and then this has happened, and she looks genuinely upset.
I'm the worst sister. I think it breaks Callie a little. She's like, but it's a good thing. She's not gonna be a monster when you're planning your wedding for one. I think we can knock her down a peg.
Just just be gentle with her later. Okay. I want everything to go. I want everything to be right. I don't want anything to go wrong tonight.
Famous last words. Yeah, no, yeah, I got you. I got you. We're gonna hit it soon. I don't want to ruin your night. I've done what I came to do.
It means so much to me that you did come, because I know I kind of thought you wouldn't, but it means so much to me that you did.
Oh my god, she's tearing up and she's like, "Well, you're my sister, even though we don't see each other a lot. We got to stick together."
And she gives you a hug, even though you're
Oh,
kind of not ready for it, but she
yeah,
gives you that hug.
yeah. I'm doing the awkward like squeezing the shoulders in and not really pulling away thing and looking at Azita.
And Azita, you're a little bit distant from this, I assume.
Yes, and I think that where the hug happens, I think that Callie kind of looks over her shoulder and Azita kind of shrugs. I don't know what to do there.
And Azita, as you do that, that's when you'll get kind of that flicker of something, of your visions, of a senses, and that kind of expanding. And you look, and you kind of look across, and we can see that moment when the crowd kind of parts a little, and we see a number of people move apart, and you'll see this guy, 6 foot, shaven head, tight suit, and he hasn't seen you, but you will recognize him, and he's definitely the guy from the vision who saw you. Or rather, saw the other person, but definitely the person that has been described.
Right. And I think that I step behind Callie's sister and give Callie a look as if, and kind of take her arm, and we step and put something like a hedge or a shelf or something between the two of us.
You can get, this is a museum, so there's plenty of big glass delicate exhibits here in and amongst all the crowd of people that are packed in fairly tightly.
Right. And we'll put something between the two of us, and I'll say, there's about to be a big deal here. It's your call, Callie. Do we dust it up?
Wait, what? What kind of big deal? This is a room full of people.
You saw this guy. This guy's a big heavy hitter. He, almost killed Ghostface and one of the other guys from the crew. So we need to make sure. Do you want to draw him out?
Oh,
What do you
it's
want to
that guy? Oh my god, Gwyneth is gonna kill me. Can we pull a fire alarm or something?
Done. And I'm going to zip off and go pull a fire alarm and come back.
All right, I'm going to come to you in just 1 second as I pull the other shoe out to let it drop. So let me ask you this, Irene. This is a major metropolitan museum. There's all kind of paparazzi outside, police barricades from the city because the wealthy and the elite of the city are in there. It's all kind of cordoned off. Do you want to, Evil Knievel jump over into it? Or are you planning on going in a little more low key?
I will say, first of all, that I really do want to Evil Knievel jump into the middle of this.
Yes.
But
and ride your bike into the museum? Yeah.
Yes, I really do want to do that. However, I also know that a bunch of these people might be funding my big show, my big stunt show, and we're going to be going around and beating down doors for that for funding. So I also don't want to do that. So I think I'm going to pull up onto the side and make our way in there that way.
Okay. So this seems like it might actually be Kyle's forte for getting you in quietly. Do you think you want to do that, Kyle, or do you want to go in guns blazing?
Yeah, we can do that, but just without the bike.
Okay.
You couldn't take the bike in there too? I mean, that would be really cool to drive out of a shadow on the bike. Wouldn't that be awesome?
No, I mean, it would not. Yeah, I can.
I think, Kyle, I want to see you sneak around to get in and get yourselves in a good position, get some advantage without being spotted by security or anything like that.
Okay, I think I'm going to melt into darkness with my shadow melt.
Okay.
And I think I'm also going to choose envelop in darkness and deaden sounds from the shadows so that we're also quiet.
That seems perfect. You can click all those tags.
And I'll choose the weakness. It calls for me from shadow melt.
And that will give you attention. Is that your the new one you got, or is that the weakness of the old one? Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, as soon as you do attention on that, you get to add a new tag.
Okay.
After we do this roll with the weakness, you'll get to add a new tag to that theme set.
Okay. And what am I rolling?
So what you'll do is you're going to click on the tag, the boxes next to each of those tags, and then you're going to roll sneak around.
Ah, okay. Sneak around. Oof.
So, how is it that what is it that you're trying to do? Are you pulling the shadows to you and trying to? And do you think that actually kind of moves you in through the shadows unexpectedly?
Sure. Yeah. I think I just thought of my new power tag, which is like a path in shadows.
Nice.
So I think it's more like we're opening a portal in the shadow and then will appear somewhere on the other side. I don't know if I have good control over it or not.
You will find yourself. I mean, and this is disconcerting. This is not like anything you've done before. And it's that you kind of start to pull into the shadows and it moves you through there. And you hear it whisper in your ears. that voice of that story in your head pulling you in, and you will find yourselves on what looks to be some kind of stage, like a small stage with curtains sort of hanging from the ceiling. You know, you're clearly in the middle of the room on like some display stage because there's a big glass case with one of these Fabergé eggs in the center of it. And you two have ported into the display in the middle of this place, which would be okay because it's a great position to be, right? Except that you will see that there are a couple of people in here with you, and they're dressed like waiters, but when you see them, you see that they have these sort of pointed ears and extended faces, and it looks like they are like putting something together here by this case when the two of you appear.
Oh boy.
So what do you do, Irene?
Are we in front of them, behind them? Like, do we pop up in front of them and we're all just staring at
That's
each
a
other?
5. You are right across from them. They see you, you see them.
Okay. Irene says, "Oh, hello," and she looks over at Kyle. Who are they?
I don't know, but I don't think they're people.
And as you say that, that's when the lights go out. So I'm going to cut back to you, Flicker. You have moved over, getting over to the fire alarm, right? And just as you reach the fire alarm, the power goes out. And you like hit the thing and pull on it and nothing happens. And people are doing that sudden like, hey, what's going on? You know, all that stuff. You know, there's people are talking and they're kind of freaking out. And then you'll hear like some loud slamming sounds in different places. What do you want to do, Flicker?
Were there like officers, like were there cop cars outside?
Outside. So imagine that you're in the big main, like walk-in massive room of this museum, the big open floor. It has the balconies around, has things hanging from the ceiling, has display cases down here, but they also had tables for the party and so on. And out the main doors, back that way would be the cop cars outside. Mm-hmm. There are definitely some guards in here, but of course it's gone pitch black suddenly.
Okay, so I was looking for what I was basically looking for was something to draw everyone's attention, to make sure everyone knew this wasn't a blackout, this isn't a normal occurrence, that they needed to get out. And the fire alarm was my first thought. My second thought was to go switch on all the alarms on the cop cars. But with everybody being in here and the cop cars so far out, I think my best bet is to speedster over to one of the guards, wherever they were standing last.
Okay.
Take their gun before they can react and fire it into the air a few times to make sure everyone runs.
So, I just want to make sure I have exactly what you're doing, just so I know.
Yes.
You're going to rush over to the guard, get the gun, and you're going to fire off this gun in a crowded room with a bunch of people with glass display cases in the dark.
Fire into the air.
Oh, yeah. I know. No, you're not shooting anyone.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly right.
Okay. I think this is change the game.
Okay.
What do you think the tags are to create chaos that doesn't go wrong here?
Oh, I didn't say it wouldn't go wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to do super speed. Act just before it happens.
See, I think that's not a problem. I think you can get the gun.
Mm-hmm.
That is not a problem. The question is what are you using as your intelligence to create this effect here?
To get people to leave?
Yeah, is it? Do you have some stuff for making those calculations? Is you anything like that? Visions or anything like that?
So let's see. I can do flashes of other part of the city, perfect spatial sense.
Oh, I like the perfect spatial sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, in fact, I think what I'm going to do instead of rushing over there and grabbing the guard's gun, I just saw one of the new tags that I have is possess someone else's body.
Okay.
So I'm going to speed over there and slip into his body so he pulls his gun and fires it into the air to get people to leave.
Okay.
So that's possess someone else's body
Uh-huh.
and perfect spatial sense. And then I'm going to hit something about time. Let's do time space overload, which is a weakness
Yeah, absolutely.
because I like those. And let's see, a weakness on divination. Uh, disturbing flashes of upcoming horror.
Okay.
Yes. And then I will roll. Let me scroll up to the top and see. You said it was change the game.
This has changed the game.
Okay, so I'm going to roll that.
Well, that is a great success. So you're going to get 2 juice.
Okay.
Essentially, that's 2 hold to create story tags or things like that. And I want you to imagine that there's no light in here except for maybe people pulling out cell phones, and then suddenly the gun goes off in here, muzzle flash, and you will see in the muzzle flash when you do that the security grates have fallen over the doors to the outside.
Ooh, okay.
And people essentially are running, moving away from you. But you've got 2 hold that you can use to kind of control that chaos. You can apply it as a Benny to other people's things or create a status tag for other things. Does that seem fair?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I'm going to spend one of the hold right now to create a story tag. And I think the tag I'll create with that is evacuation.
Okay.
And I think that what this looks like is the cop fires into the air through the muzzle flash. We see that the grates are down, and he immediately gets on his walkie-talkie and tells all the other guards, get the people out now.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll make that evacuation a status that needs to get ticked up to complete to get everybody out of there. So that's something that can be worked on to get people clear. So in fact, I'll put a little text on it on the Roll20 thing, and we'll call it that. And then I'm going to misspell evacuation. But there we go. No spell checker in Roll20. All right. So let's come to Excalibur. Callie, Azita moves away from you. She says she's going to do something, and then the lights go out. You hear that slamming sound, and then this guard fires off this gun, and you're like, what did Azita do?
I'm like, oh no. They were supposed to be just a fire alarm.
What do you want to do?
Let me think. Oh, this is the worst situation to have a power that's create weapons. How am I gonna do something here? I'm thinking maybe like, I don't know, making a flare gun and shooting a flare inside the museum just to get people slightly oriented so they can get out.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you create a flare gun essentially to boost up the evacuation status to help people get out.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I think that's changed the game.
Let's do it. See what I'm using. I'm definitely using transforms into any weapon. I'm gonna say a flare gun is a weapon.
Yeah, that seems fair to me.
Smarter than I look.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Like you know where to fire it to
Yeah.
create the maximum amount of light.
And I think that's it.
Okay.
So you said that.
What's that?
So Lowell, you said that I could spend one of my juice to help boost someone else.
Yes.
So I'd like to take my second juice and do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
So then you'll add a 1 in the plus upstairs on the roller.
Awesome. And I'm gonna add the weakness that it's very conspicuous in weapon form. Nothing draws more attention than a flare gun.
Yes.
And let's see.
And I think the way that Azita's actually helping in this case is that as you go to aim the flare gun in the darkness, Azita, with her perfect spatial sense, will point in the correct direction so that it doesn't go out a window or something like that. It actually hits and stays and flares to light up the area.
Awesome. Change the game. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we'll go up 2 ticks on this status. If I can get the right thing here. I can stop. Hit the escape button every once in a while. Roll20 does this thing where it gives me the pointers incorrectly. So I'm going to move that up 2 ticks. Now, I think that with that 10 plus, that when that flare goes off, that people don't immediately look and say, "Oh my God, look at over there. It's one of the Birmingham daughters who has a flare gun and is firing that off in a museum." But in fact, you do create light, and you will see that there is a figure in red kind of swinging down from the balcony. Even as those lights have gone off, it is swinging down to where there are a set of those Fabergé eggs, and you'll see this woman in red cloak. She has this little diamond mask on, and she has this sort of page boy cap, kind of newsy cap on, and she is swinging down towards that. You will also see that guy, Kolshi the Deathless, has seen where the flare comes from, and he is looking around trying to judge what is going on here. Meanwhile, at the display stage, what do you want to do, Ghostface? We have a couple of Anastasia's henchmen, these essentially these Russian brownies here helping to set up the caper. What do you want to do?
I think I feel pretty mortified that that we ended up here. That's not what I intended, but I'm not gonna show it because I am a stoic guy. And instead, I guess I have to. I really want to try to persuade them to stand down, actually.
And by persuade, do you mean terrify them with the horrors of your presence?
No, actually, because I burned all of those tags when I failed that roll.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you want to cop talk down these brownies?
I think so. I don't really know how that, what that would even look like. I think I'm just like... This sounds so ineffectual as I'm thinking it.
Well, one of the things is when you try to convince somebody,
yeah,
if you succeed, then they have to choose to obey you or else take a status. So if they disobey you, they're going to take a little bit of, you'll shake them a little bit. So it is a way to do damage on the sort of that spectrum of their confidence. So it is reasonable to try.
Yeah, I mean,
because you still look like a badass, right?
Yeah, I'm not as earth-shakingly frightening as I usually am, but
you did pop out of shadows, and you do have that cool bandana.
I did, and I do.
Okay.
And also, Irene probably looks pretty threatening. We don't have a bike now. Maybe I'm second guessing that decision.
Okay.
But look, we don't have to fight. But you don't want to do this. Enough people are going to get hurt. Doesn't have to be you. Or you. Or you.
And they hesitate. Let what are your tags that you're using to do this?
I think I'm going to use persuasive.
Okay.
And person reader.
All right. That seems Seems
Yeah.
appropriate.
And I think I'm using those two because I'm even saying this because I feel like I can sense that I might be able to shake them.
Okay.
Using person reader as well. Do I want to say I'm also watched by my former partner? Yes, I do.
Okay.
And that's going to be convince, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is an 8.
Yes.
So you will see them hesitate. I mean, they don't run, but they definitely hesitate. Like they're clearly like they're not fighters. They're part of the prep team, and suddenly 2 badasses appeared. They don't run because they've got worse waiting for them if they disobey. But you at least have hesitated to them, and maybe that is a way to push on them. Irene, what do you want to do?
I think Irene's going to try to lean into that. And I think she's going to, those little sort of velvet rope things that they have around those display cases?
Uh-huh.
I think she's going to grab the top of one of them and just bend it around. You really don't want us to have to throw down here.
Let's tell me what the tags are for you following up on that intimidation.
Okay. Look through these. I'll make sure I've got them all. Okay. Let's see. Inhuman strength.
Okay.
Let's see. Con artist.
Okay.
I think those are my 2 power tags.
All right.
And I think weakness wise, I think I'm going to take my rage always pushes me because the Fury wants to fight.
Yeah. Fury's ready to throw down.
So that's the weakness tag that's built in here.
Okay.
And so let's see. And would this be convince or change the game?
I think we're still. Let's see. Is it to push the give it allies an advantage? I think let's do change the game just because we'll be pushing up that status essentially.
Okay.
On that. One of the problems is a lot of these moves kind of overlap in terms of what they're doing.
Okay. Okay. That's an 8.
So you'll essentially boost that status on them. Like they will fall back from here. Like they fall back into the crowd. Like they move back and drop behind the curtains. They're not fleeing the whole scene, but they're getting away from you two. Does that seem like a fair thing?
I think so.
Okay. And you can see that whatever device it was that they were setting up there, they didn't get a chance to finish with it. So as it goes, and of course, as that happens, the flare goes off. The lights have dropped. The flare has gone off, and you actually start hearing, there's some shouting from some edges. Like there's some other louder voices happening in here. Tell me, Callie, what do you want to
do? Are people evacuating at all, or is it still?
Well, see, the problem is that they are moving like to the side galleries and out the stairs and things like that because they can't actually get out the front.
Oh yeah, the thing got knocked over, right?
No, it looks like the security doors, like the shutters on the front doors of this place have come down.
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay. replay differently in my mind. I'm thinking of cutting it off, but how am I going to do that without people noticing it?
That's a good
the mist
question.
takes care of that, right?
Pardon?
The mist takes care of that for me, right? They just
Yeah. They only recall that you were doing something weird. They might remember that you picked up a fire axe and started hacking at the security gates. They will read it as something normal later. It will still be somewhat embarrassing.
Oh yeah. Maybe I can play it like I'm a hero. I'm gonna try it. I think it's our best bet. I want to get
Okay.
the civilian bringing my sister out.
All right. Well, let's do that as a change the game, and we'll build. Well, let's keep evolving that evacuation status. See if we can get that completed to get people out of here.
So I think. Let me see. So my bracelet had turned into this
you
beautiful
next.
silver gun. What's that?
Oh, Azita, I'm going to come to you next.
My bracelet had turned into this beautiful silver gun with a lot of etchings and flare on it.
Okay.
And now I'm gonna go with. I like the fire axe idea. I'm gonna go with a big old axe, like anime axe with a big head. It's
Okay. And what does it look like when your gun transforms? What do we see?
it's like it melts and then it reshapes itself in the air,
Okay.
holding and like this petite girl in a beautiful gown holding an axe that's longer than me.
Absolutely. Let's have you figure out what your tags are and roll.
So first of all, the weakness is very conspicuous.
Yes.
It's a big old axe. It's transformed into a weapon. It's indestructible. I have attack that's cutting edge fashion. That's I didn't realize that was. Yeah, but I don't think it fits.
Not necessarily appropriate here.
One that does fit is young and fit because it takes some serious gymnastics to do this.
Okay.
And I think that's it. I'm gonna roll it. Changing the game. Oh, nice.
Awesome. So tell me what we see on screen. What are the acrobatics that you do to get over there?
So, like as soon as I fire the flare, I look around just to gauge the situation, and then I'm just running for the door when I see people like swarming up against it.
Okay.
And I move my hand back, and it turns into the axe, and I just like elbow people out of my way, and I'm like, move! And everybody just looks behind, and I just slam the axe. It's a very thin axe, so I can like pass it like just in front of these two people, and it cuts down on the grid in front.
You will slice through it. Right now, you've got a cut. It needs to get pulled apart, but you've got to slice through these security gates here, and it goes through like cutting through butter here. Nothing should give way like that. As you get over here, you will see that there are a couple of people who have taken out security guards who look like, you can see that they're kind of bulky, and it almost looks like they've got some kind of stylized armor on. And you can see that glow of the mythic or the enchanted about them. You're not sure who they're with, if they're with Kolshi or they're with Anastasia, but there's some bad dudes here. And what about you, Azita? What do you want to do?
So I think Azita, right after the flare went off, she steps up. She steps out of the guard.
Okay.
And she sees Callie go over and start, wailing on this grate that's come down.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, yeah, that's right. And I think she's headed over to help whenever she sees these guards that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's going to try to take them unaware. And so are these guards threatening, or are they trying to protect?
These guards have taken out actually the museum security. They've dropped them. Clearly, when the power went out, they were there for that, and they have dropped them. And it looks like they're looking around for resistance, like
Right.
Say someone with a big fire axe chopping at the door.
Right. So then I'm going to Okay, so I think that the best thing to do here would be for me to let's try to. I don't think the best thing for me to do is really punch them. So I think what I might do is step in with my possession ability and try and take one over. And, use, if I can take one over, then attack the other one back and forth.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can essentially do that as a form of hitting it with all you've got.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds perfect. So I'll use possess others' bodies. And what else looks good for that? Maybe perfect spatial sense. Is there anything else? Maybe good catcher.
Good catcher?
Good catcher, I think, is knowing where they are and being able to catch the right person.
Okay.
That's from time space warping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I want weaknesses too. Let's see. Flashes of horrors to come.
Okay.
And that's hit with all you've got?
Yep.
Okay, let me roll that.
Okay. So that's going to be power 2 effect, and you're going to get to pick one from those results there. The top one is the I don't take damage one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And the second one, it says you get them good or get many on them. That's +1 damage.
Yep.
So that's what I want.
Okay.
I'll choose that one.
Tell me what it looks like. What do we see on screen with this possession that you do? What do we see the effect here?
Yeah, so I think what we see actually is at first Azita kind of rushes over and you see this kind of blur where Callie is as she's starting to slice through the grate. And then as soon as Callie's attention is drawn to these guards, you see Azita zip over to one of the guards that's standing next to the other one, and they're looking around for resistance. And you see Azita kind of shake her head and then kind of step into the place where that guard was. And it's almost like a ghost form appears, and then that guard turns around and hits the other guard.
Okay. And there are a set of them here, so we probably see a range of you like striking at one, other one coming over. We see these guys, they have these enhanced blades that they are swinging at, and finally one of them will catch you as you're in one of these bodies and hits his buddy because his buddy's been attacking them and is going to strike you for a 3 damage effect. Now, you can roll face danger to reduce that.
Is there any cost associated with that?
No, there is not.
Okay.
You
So
just
let
have
me
to figure out the
reset.
tags. The cost is that we take more time in game.
Oh, okay.
This again has an action and response system.
Yeah. So I think I'll roll face danger, and I think that's going to be act just before it happens. Looks
Yeah.
like a good tag for that. And sorry, it takes roll 20 a little bit to pop up. Is there any other good tag? And I'm going to use this possession tag as well.
Okay. Yeah, that seems fair.
Yeah, and so that is face danger?
Yep.
Okay.
Look at that. So this guy brings over this striker with this sort of electrified hand weapon and goes to hit you, and you're out of that body before he can even land that blow on you, and you will evade that as he takes out one of his pals. Sound good?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds perfect. I think that as he goes to hit, then you see her kind of escape, but she's not possessing any of them anymore at this point.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's come back to Kyle. Ghostface. You heard the noise outside. Now you're hearing a crashing, and you probably saw that figure swing by in the flash of that flare. So there's clearly some stuff going on outside. Crowd running, gunshots. What do you want to do?
Does it seem to me like people would be safe? The public?
Well, there are people trying to evacuate, but there's clearly some kind of fight that has broken out. So it looks like it's going to get dangerous here in a sec.
Okay. What I want to do is I want to bust down some walls
All right.
so that people can escape. Hopefully, not load-bearing walls.
Well, let's see that. I think that's going to be. Tell me what we see. Do we throw the curtains back so you can see the room, and you're going to blow out one of these walls?
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. So tell me what do we see on panel? The effect as it starts.
It's like I put my hand to the ground, and some of the shadows that are cast by the curtains are there, and it's just like it's like I'm pressing into them, and then they start rippling, and they like go. They're like spreading like water almost, or some kind of liquid to one of the walls, and then I think they like it's like it looks like they're like seeping in, but you can't tell how. And like logically, you're like, but it's not that porous, but it's happening.
All right. Well, what are your tags for doing this powerful shadow breakage of a wall?
Right. Oh no. Hold on. I didn't realize I accidentally closed my.
Oh, God, you closed roll 20.
Yeah. Huh. Weird. Hold up. Okay. Okay, I got it. What am I? Let's see. Shadow play.
Okay.
I feel like that's it.
Okay. Well, then, by all means, roll change the game with that.
Do you think if I were to do Path and Shadows, would that work? Or is that like stretching it a little far?
I would think if you said to me you're building like a shadow corridor that these people would have to walk through, I could see that.
I feel like that's really unsafe. But
yes, I think so too.
Well, whatever. Why not?
Okay. Do you want to put a weakness tag on that too?
Sure.
Okay.
I think Light, the Eternal Bane.
Okay, because there is this flare that's still up in the air.
Yeah. Messing with my plan. How rude. And what will I roll?
You're going to roll change the game.
Okay. Did I do it? Ah!
So, Kyle, you go to do that, and just as you're doing it, as that kind of spreads on there, you kind of getting it, and it's forming a dark corridor, but people can like see outside, like you can see like that is a way to get out. And just as you're doing that, there's somebody up in your face.
Oh.
And you'll see Kolshi, who you met before, is up in your face, and he lets loose with this flare of light right in your face. And essentially, he's going to put a 3-point blinded status on you that you're going to have to resist.
Oh, okay. How do I... Is there somewhere that I can put that in, or no?
Yeah, so there's status cards down at the bottom.
Right.
And you can put them in there. And what you'll do is you roll a face danger against that to see if you can avoid it entirely or reduce its effect.
Okay, do I do it now, or...?
Yeah, we'll do the face danger right now.
Okay.
It's
And
it's a PbtA game that then has you respond to attacks, which I just kind of realized tonight, which is a little more architecture than I'm used to. But yeah, so what do you think of your tags for resisting him blinding you with this flash? He clearly fought you before and has come prepared.
I'm definitely gonna try to escape into shadow. Like I think what I would attempt to do
Okay.
is like to have like. I mean, I guess I could also reach up and like block my eyes, but
No,
where's
but
the fun in that?
oh, yeah,
So
absolutely no.
a shadow arm reaches up and blocks the light, and then also I want to like melt away.
Okay, then mark those tags and roll face danger.
Okay, shadow play and melt into darkness, path of shadows. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Um, face danger.
Look at that. You completely avoid it. So he's rushed up, and while he's broken your attempt to create this portal, you and vanish into the shadows, even as he lets loose with that flare. He's got some kind of item in his hand, like some kind of diamond or something that he brought to do this with. And he kind of, like, he's pissed because he should have gotten you. He had the opportunity and he blew it. Irene, you see that happen. What do you do?
I think Irene's going to pick up that thing she just bent into like a little umbrella handle and is going to smack the living shit out of him with it.
Okay. That sounds like hit it with all you got as you're going to smack Kolshi upside the head.
Okay. For that one, I think martial arts would be
That
a good
seems
tag
fair.
for that.
Yep.
Inhuman strength. Be a good one, I think. And I don't think anything on my other one will work. So I think that's going to be it. Now I think I will keep that my rage always pushes me, because I think it wants me to take this battle up a notch, and that's not where I want to go yet.
That seems perfect.
Okay.
So you're going to do a tier 1 effect, power 1 effect. Do you want to, what do you want to do for your choice there?
If this is Kolshi, I'm probably not gonna legitimately do a whole lot of damage to him.
Right.
So I think the effect I'm choosing is that I've got his attention now.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of come up and you smack him with that, and he barely shrugs from it. And he looks and he says, how many of you are there? And he will go to throw you. Like he hits you square in the chest to send you flying back into one of these cases. And so that's a 2 level of physical harm that he does in response. And you can roll face danger.
Okay. All right. First, I think I need to reset everything. Okay. All right. I think my martial arts would help on that part.
Yeah.
I think inhuman strength would be good. Terrifying regeneration would also help me resist being horribly injured. And I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, let's have you roll. This is face danger.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he goes to like shove you, like his hand comes out and it's strong. It's like iron. He goes to shove you, like to throw you back, and there's a crunch as your heels dig into the marble floor, and you don't move. And he goes, "Oh."
And Irene smiles and says, "There's only one of me, motherfucker."
Okay. I know we're at the high point. We're going to take our 5-minute break, and when we're going to come back, we're going to deal with Callie and Azita. Right now on the table, we've got Kolshi. We've got some of Anastasia's like henchmen who are around there, and we've got Anastasia who is working her way around lifting Fabergé eggs. Even as all of this is going on, and there's all the chaos from the evacuation. And when we come back, we're going to deal with all of that. People might get hurt. We'll find out.
Hello, I have a question.
Sure.
When you hit 3 attention, do you immediately get to pick another power tag, or do you have to have downtime for that?
You can pick an improvement.
Okay.
Do you want to do that real quick?
I think I just hit 3, and this seems like a dramatic moment to throw something else on Bastion.
So let's look at Bastion then real quick. One of the things you could take is you could make your face danger with power tags from that theme dynamite. So if you roll a 12 plus, you get additional benefits. Or you could, when you burn this tag, burn a tag in this theme for to face danger affecting you or your allies. You can essentially use that for everybody else. Essentially, you can face danger for a group by burning that tag. Sacrifice, when you get hit on face danger, you can choose to extend the outcome to one person, always. And there are a couple of other ones that essentially require the move to be dynamite already. So,
okay, I think I'd like to do the basically let the face danger on a 12 plus hit dynamite.
absolutely.
So I was looking on the card here to see where I put that, and I don't.
On the back, actually, if you flip the card, you can write in improvements back.
Ah, there it is. Thanks.
So Lowell,
yes,
I actually did the same thing, and I'm going to improve mobility. And I've looked this up. One of the powers that I saw in the playbook was do try to keep up. And the text of that is once per session, once you or someone rolls a 6 or less and the MC makes a move, you can make a move just before the MC moves takes place.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Fantastic.
All right. So let's come back to you, Callie. Callie, you've cut a big swath in these doors, and then these Bogatir agents, essentially Anastasia's people, were coming over, and then suddenly this melee broke out, and you could see Azita kind of jumping between them. But they're still kind of there as a danger. The crowd is still rushing, panicking. The lights are still out, and now there's some kind of shadow fight going on. And you will probably see in the flashes of various like cell phones and things, and the flash from Deathless from Kolshi, you see Irene up there going toe to toe with him. What do you want to do? You also see your mom caught in the crowd over here, and of course your sister caught in the crowd over here.
Oh, of course. They couldn't be in the same crowd, could they?
Oh no, of course not.
Yeah. What kind of world would that be?
Your sister seems to be looking for you.
Oh, of course she is. God damn it. I'm this close to like ripping my dress and making a mask out of it just so I have some solace in fighting this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't think it makes sense in the fiction. It still looked like me.
You can grab somebody else's costume.
Oh.
Somebody else's dress.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm not gonna dive too deep into that, but
Sure.
let's just like pretend that they don't go too deep. Does it seem like Azira's got these guys? Does it seem like she's handling the mooks?
They are on their last legs, essentially. That group of them, yes.
Okay, so I'm probably gonna go. I'm gonna go over and help Irene because I know that Koshi is a bigger hitter.
Okay. So you move across and rush Kolshi to strike at him, or do you want to set something up? How do you want to do this?
He's got his back to me, right?
Yeah, he's focused on Irene because Irene took a solid shot from him and didn't flinch.
I could just hit him. Do you want to get something going, Chris? Like, does Irene see me approaching and?
Oh, I'm pretty sure, like, you're probably approaching from behind him because I'm betting his back's probably to the exits right now because he was focused on getting into where the eggs were.
Yeah, but like,
so I think she could probably see, especially if you're like, you still got the big giant axe, right?
uh-huh.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure she'd notice that. So Irene can probably see you if you want to like give her the nod or some sort of signal.
Oh yeah, let's do this. Let's tag team this guy.
So you got a couple of ways you can do that. What you can do is you can essentially change the game and essentially generate some hold to push up Irene's effect, and maybe negate some of his defenses if you want, as your action on this thing. And then when we come back around to Irene, she can make her attack. Do you want to do that, or do you want to do your straight attack now?
I'm gonna set Irene up. I think that's gonna be more interesting.
Okay.
I think maybe turning the bracelet into like this really cool, like the weapon that guy from the White Tribe in Magic the Gathering has. It's like the super cool metal whip that he uses. It's got
Okay. Got the sort of the flexible coil whip that's silver that goes out. Absolutely. Can grab onto his hands, lock him down. Let's. So what are the tags you're using for this?
Well, let's find out. Let me see. Well, my bread and butter will be transforming into any weapon and indestructible.
Okay.
Not this. Not this one. I think that's pretty much it. Maybe one of the teams got each other's back from the crew thing.
Okay. Do you want to mark that? Use that?
Yeah. And,
okay.
Since my mom is in the crowd, I'm going to check the weakness tag. The old woman will find out.
Yes. Super appropriate.
Why are you throwing, I don't know, why are you throwing a rope at this man? This is a party. And it's changed the game, right?
It is changed the game.
Let's do this. Ooh, on a row.
Okay. So that's a 10 plus. So essentially you can essentially create a distraction with those the two juice that you have from that. So what does that look like? Or are you distracting, or are you like immobilizing him? What do we see?
I think I'm trying to immobilize him, but I'm not actually that tough. And he keeps breaking out, and it's just like he pulls an arm away from the metal coils, and then a leg gets stuck, and it's like he's struggling against my attack. And
each time he pulls back, you're hitting him again with that sort of lightning speed of the whip, and you see he's getting more and more angry.
Oh yes.
Azita, what do you want to do? The crowd is still, it looks like that it's gonna, people are starting to get hurt here in the trampling.
So are these guards still a threat to the people?
They're still up and active, yeah.
Okay, so I think the first thing I need to do is I need to so I'm going to basically fight with the guards directly.
Okay.
And this looks like, me very quickly going from, guard to guard, throwing a punch, and then zipping around and zipping quicker than they can see.
Okay.
And seeing if I can take them out.
All right. Then let's tell me what your tags are for this.
Yes. So my tags will be super speed and act just before it happens.
Okay.
And I'm going to toss in the weakness time space overload. And I think while I'm doing this, I'm going to taunt them, and I'm going to tag sarcastic.
That seems fair.
And this is this go toe to toe, or
this is hit it with all you got?
Okay. What is go toe to toe?
So go toe to toe is a slightly different version of the same thing. It is one of the overlapping moves.
Okay.
So look at that. You got a 10 plus a power 2. What do you want as your 2 picks off of that?
Oh, so the first one is I take no damage. The second is they take more damage.
Absolutely. Do you want those two?
So I'll take. I get them good, so that's more damage, and I
Okay.
think I want to get more of them because I want to take them out further.
Absolutely. I'll say that you can essentially get the scale on them at this point and take them out. But so it's almost like kind of a slow motion. I mean, they've got these like tonfa and hand weapons and things like that, and they're swinging, but you're moving faster, so it's like they're in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
But this is also, I mean, you're not a trained hand-to-hand combatant, right?
Right.
Okay. I mean, maybe you've learned a little bit, but you will take them out. But there is that moment when one of them, you see them out of the corner of your eye, and it brings that club across your forehead, so you can face danger or take the damage status.
Let me take danger. That's right.
Okay.
And I'm going to, since I'm doing this fast, I'm just going to click reset and take the super speed and act before it happens, and then face danger.
Yep.
And see what that does. 7.
So you're going to take a 2-tick effect. Essentially, as this last one that you hit, he brings that tonfa, and it's electrified. So it's more than anything, it's that it comes close and kind of shocks you, knocks you down as it brings it. But this last one crashes to the ground. And it looks like you've taken out Anastasia's goons here, who are trying to essentially control the crowd and look for resistance like you.
I think as I slow down, I kind of stop moving as quickly as I was, breathe heavily, and then kind of turn to the people around in the flickering shadow of the flare and say, "Get out!"
Let's come to you then, Kyle, Ghostface.
Sorry. I have a question first. Can
Absolutely.
So I did get 3 attentions on From the Shadows before, and I put in another power tag, but I really want to do shadow clones. Can I change my tag to?
Yeah, if you haven't used it, go ahead.
Yes. Okay, well, that's what I want to do. I'm so excited.
So the threats here right now are the rest of Anastasia's crew, those waiters and stuff that are around. There's Anastasia, taking the Fabergé eggs, and there's Kolshi. Those are the ones you've seen of the threats so far. So what do you want to do?
I would like to take on Anastasia, possibly with my shadow clone.
Okay. And how do you want to? Are you attacking her? Or are you just trying to stop her? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I think I would like to attack her.
Okay.
Hopefully, also maybe catch the Fabergé eggs. So
sure.
All shattered.
There's a whole collateral damage choice on the go toe to toe. So she's in that brilliant red suit with the little tie, has her little domino mask in red, their cape, her red newsy cap on, and what you've seen her do is that when she's landed on these cases, it's like her hand just kind of goes a little bit through the glass, and the things fly up and they kind of go into her palm, and that seems to be her magic is about stealing stuff, and she is cackling as she does it. So tell me how you're attacking her.
Okay, well, I would like to attack her like when she's approaching one of those stands. I want to just whoosh, emerge from the shadows and then split into 2, and then both one of them maybe punch her. I don't know. Maybe try to shoot her, and the other person go and grab for him. I'm assuming a sizable amount of Fabergé eggs now.
Absolutely. Let's see it.
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay.
Hit it with all you've got.
Okay, so there's Shadow Clone, obviously.
Yep.
I think Path and Shadows as well, because I because I'm emerging from the shadows.
Okay.
And and envelop in darkness. I think I want to blind her briefly so I can better punch her.
Perfect. I'll let you use that.
Yes. Huh. And I think I'll still check the weakness it calls for me.
Fair enough.
Yay. And hit it with all I've got, not go
Yeah.
toe to toe.
This will be hit it with all you got.
Okay, I will do that.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
So you will smack in and say, suddenly she sees you come and she's like, she stops because she's not sure who you are, and then suddenly you split and you see her eyes get wide as she sees you split, and then your hand comes in and you see some of these eggs, like from whatever little magic bag she has, some of them will come, like 3 of them will come flying out into the air. So what are your 2 picks for the bennies on this move that you want to have?
Let's see. I control the collateral damage.
Okay. And we see some of your shadows catching the eggs.
Yeah. What does it mean to gain the upper hand?
Gain the upper hand means that that's a juice that's essentially a hold that you can spend later on a future turn to benefit yourself or someone else, or to apply a status to someone.
I think I should probably go with that. So that, because I don't think I can knock her out with just one.
Like you, she is a mythic.
Oh, so what does, so if I do like, I get them good, does that mean?
We'll go up one more tick in terms of the effect that you do. Then there's also not get hit back, but you'll still get a resistance.
Oh no, that's okay. I think I'll choose to get an advantage, so I can help out whoever tries to hit her next.
Okay. So you will hit Anastasia. You've got some advantage, and you catch these eggs, and you're there, and she looks at you, and you see her whip off her mask, and she has these beautiful doe-like eyes. She's just a waif. She just, you just want to help her. So if you could face danger against her charming you into helping her.
Oh, I feel like as a Nora detective, that is definitely my weakness.
Yes. Big. She looks like Puss in Boots from Shrek. She does that big eye thing at you.
Ooh. Let's see.
Off-brand Disney princess.
I have person reader.
Okay. Oh, that seems like a good way to resist that.
Let's see. I think that's it.
Okay. Let's have you roll face danger.
Great. I will do that.
So you're going to take a status charmed for level at level 3.
Okay. I feel like this is one of those like slow moment, slow.
Everything kind of slows down, and much like Tuxedo Mask, we probably see the glint of little stars from her as she looks at you.
Yeah, and I'm just like a dope.
I love it. But you still have the eggs, and maybe she's reaching out her hand like, thank you for catching them for me, that kind of thing. We'll come back to you in a second. Irene. It looks and Callie has set you up. She's got Kolshi's attention. Looks like you could better. But then again, you see Kyle over there, and you see him like maybe kind of stop and look in that kind of dopey guy way that you've seen before.
Well, Irene has it in her head that Kyle can handle himself. And plus, she secretly will really, really relish rubbing his face in it if he lets Anastasia get away. So, Irene is going to try and finish off Koshi.
Okay.
She's going to grab that velvet rope post that she had bent before and clubbed him with. She's going to smash that over her knee so that the bent end now turns into a sharp sort of spear head.
Okay.
And then she's going to basically stab it through him and into the floor to pin him to the floor.
All right. So it sounds like we're still hitting him with all you've got.
That sounds like it. I thought about trying to swing into a toe-to-toe, but really, Irene's not a trade shots kind of person.
Right. So let us consider then. We've got 2 juice from your thing, right, Callie? Or was it 2 or 3?
It was 2.
2. Okay. So you can, with Callie's assistance, you can add 2 in the plus on your roll here.
Okay. That's always good. Okay.
Boost the power.
And I'm going to click on martial arts. Well, could I add in methodical to this since I'm planning on basically stabbing him into place with this? With methodical
I like it because you've been set up, and I think that does play into you coordinating with her.
Okay.
Do you want to tag any more of the team tags?
I think
they can each one can only get hit once, but check and see if there are any crew tags that.
I think got each other's backs, definitely. Because Callie had my back here. We'll leave aside the fact that I obviously don't have Kyle's right now, but
right. Well, that's neither here nor there.
That's his own fault. And let's see. And I think as the weakness, I think the weakness here is that Irene doesn't want to just stop at him at incapacitating him.
Oh yeah.
Like the rage is pushing her to finish him, even though he's not finishable by his very nature. So that is the weakness tag on that.
Let's see it. Oh, look at that.
Ah, yes. That's beautiful.
What do you want as your 2 picks?
I'm going to say that I control the collateral damage, and I think I'm going to
get him good.
I think I'm going to get him good. I'm thinking I'm going to try and hit him with a 6 tier.
Okay. So you will bring that down and you will smash that into him. And as you do that, he does again. You see him bring that diamond up and jam it into you, and like ignites it. So you're gonna have to resist, face danger because you didn't do that. But he goes out just from the pain of this as these 2 posts go through him and pin him to the marble floor.
Perfect.
Let's have you roll that face danger. What is appropriate for this? Is he lets loose with his magic in your face?
Oh, I'm pretty sure terrifying regeneration, because this is exactly the kind of thing that's built for.
Okay.
Let's see. I think she's kind of using her martial arts training instinctively to sort of twist away as he's stabbing toward her.
Okay.
Like her hips swing the opposite direction, so it pulls the bulk of her body away from it. So maybe he can only get a glancing blow from it.
Okay.
And I think that's gonna probably be it. Okay.
What the what?
Hey, I think I just dynamited something.
You did just dynamite. Let's see what the dynamite does on that. Let me look that up in the index.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
God damn it. Let's see here. Where is that? Where are the moves and things?
Okay, the dynamite on face danger. I just managed to find it on.
Oh, you found it?
Page 254.
Oh, good.
It says you avoid the status completely and choose one. You either reflect the status at your attacker or otherwise use it against them. You give your attacker an appropriate status of your choice with tier equal to the tier of the original status. You bolster your defenses, take an appropriate ongoing tier 1 status of your choice, describing your improved defenses.
What do you want to improve it, or is it blast back in his face?
I think it blasts back in his face. I think when he tries to throw the diamond at me, I think basically she knees his as his hand's coming in. One of her knees drives up from the underside of his hand, and the diamond flashes up into his own face, and that helps put him out.
I think actually that status will negate for this fight his regeneration. So whereas I was going to have him potentially stand up again as a soft or hard move later, he's out. He is off the table for this fight as that diamond explodes, bounces off of you, and hits him full. And he just goes out completely. Look at that. You took out this big bad, Callie. You and Irene took out this big bad, and maybe that's a point at which, you know, the sort of the screams and shouts are still going on in this room, all this crazy chaos and stuff. People are getting hurt, trampled, because now there's been all these explosions and people fighting and people flying around. What do you want to do? That's
I feel like I come off the high of taking this guy down, and I realize what you just said, like the people are getting trampled. I'm like, oh no. And I look around, and how do I see Mom and Gwyneth from this situation? How are they faring?
Well, your mom, when she left you, she went to have several drinks. So she's kind of caught over there and looks clearly a little bit drunk. And of course, your sister, you know, some people have fallen down in this, and she's trying to help them, which is putting her in more danger over there.
Oh, idiot. Why? Oh, what do I do? I can only make weapons. Oh my god. I'm gonna ask for help, Azita. I think I turned to Azita at this point. I think I see her finishing the guys off, and I'm like, Azita, you have to do something. I can't help these people. You're fast. You have to get them out. They're getting trampled.
I'm on it. I think that we need to go after the big hitter, help Ghostface. And Azita will then speed off to help Gwyneth and Callie's mother.
Okay. So this is an evacuation. Essentially, you're trying to boost that up with change the game, right? We're going to add on to that status.
Yes.
I will say that if you can get a 10 plus, you can help both of them. If you get less than a 10 plus, you're going to have to pick.
So let's see how this works. What if I burn act just before it happens?
Oh, you could do that. Yes, that would give you a 10.
Well, let's make it more dramatic then. Let's not burn it. And I'll do, let's just go ahead and roll it and see what happens. I'll do super speed and act just before it happens. So one of the things I had to look up was the method, and this is the method of you doing time space warping, and it says good catcher. I think that's literally you're grabbing things before they would hit the ground or before something would happen.
Yeah, I think that's
in this case,
a good way to read it. Yeah.
So I think in this case, I'm grabbing people before they would get trampled and picking them up and making sure they don't fall.
That's perfect.
Yeah. I'm going to tag time space overload because I'm trying to get too many people and go too fast, which is a weakness. Time space overload is a weakness.
Absolutely.
And let's see if there's anything else. Oh, I think that's good. I'm going to roll that.
Okay.
And that is change the game.
Yep. Look at you with a 12 plus. Holy cow, you guys are killing me with the roller tonight. So how do you save Gwyneth? What is it that what do we see on screen for that?
So I think what we see is this whole burst of speed, and it's almost like you see in one of the Avengers movie where Quicksilver's going in and out. So you see someone standing there and they're trying to push through, and then that person, you see a blur, and that person's, in the in the exit zone where the stairway is or whatever, and then you see this blur back, and it's that over and over again.
And what do we see? I mean, the mother is kind of trapped in a big crowd that's getting pushed along, that's kind of trying to push the gift shop doors that are locked, like they're going to go through the glass there. How do you get her out of that?
So I think that you see, again, it's that blur, and I think that you see some of the doors kind of burst open, and this wind kind of flows through, and you see the mom is kind of, people are starting to tip over, and you see the mom kind of standing there, and then a blur happens, and her shoes kind of topple to the floor,
Okay.
and she's kind of pulled outside.
Nice. So even as that is happening, Callie, what do you want to do?
I think I hesitate for a second. I'm like, am I trusting Azita to rescue my mom and my sister at this point? And it's just like, I shake it off. I'm like, I have to trust her. She did all this for me. She's got it. And I just turn my back on her and conjure. I don't know. I'm going to go with the classic one for this one. I'm going to go with a big old spear and just rush out to try to snap Kyle out of it and give Anastasia what she deserves.
So is your intent to break the charm status first, or are you just trying to spear Anastasia?
I think it's better to snap Kyle out first.
Okay.
How would I go about that?
Yeah, tell me what you do. Is it change the game to reduce that status?
So do I realize this is doing it with the eyes?
That seems fair.
I'm gonna.
How have we been staring at each other all this time? Well, everything else is happening in the background.
Kyle's hearing music,
Dancing bears, painted wings. Yeah, I'm gonna say that I did gymnastics in school, and I'm gonna do a reprise of the axe, and I'm just gonna use my spear to propel myself and do a high kick on Anastasia's face to knock her out of his eyesight.
Okay, let's have you. What tags are appropriate for this, for the change the game?
All right, young and fit, that's for sure. I still want to say cutting edge fashion to say that I cut her face with my stilettos.
Okay, I love that. That's a good use of that. Let's say that is a breakage there.
Okay, let's do it. And indestructible is probably good. Or
I don't think indestructible is appropriate. Which one?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Can I also
I think that's it.
give my juice or whatever?
Oh yeah, you still had some juice, right?
I have one.
Okay. Yeah, you can pass that on to him to help.
Yeah.
That's you kind of trying to shake yourself out of it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, do you want it, Callie?
Oh yeah, give me the juice.
All right, take it.
So that's
Okay.
+1, right?
So this is going to be change the game.
Let's do this. Oh no! Oh, it's a 9. Okay.
You were worried there for a second.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you get up and you kick her in the face. with that is you kind of vault over there, and she comes down, and she's got, you know, that strategic, you know, anime cut on her cheek with just a little bit of blood there, and she looks at you, and her eyes that were like, oh, go, like she is furious, and that will snap you out of that, Kyle. Like, whoa, that lady's pissed.
I'm like, welcome to the ball, bitch.
Kyle, what do you want to do?
I am once again mortified, but I guess that's the theme of the night for me. I guess I tried to hit her again.
What are you using, the shadow clones again? Are you resummoning them?
Yeah, I am, definitely.
What is that? And how is it different this time? What do they look like? What are they doing?
I mean, I think when I fell under her spell. So am I still charmed?
No, she completely erased that status. The blew that off. Like when she got angry, it broke that spell completely for you.
Oh,
that dame is not so cool as you thought.
Kelly, good on you. Okay. Well, when I was charmed and like we were having that moment, and I think the shadow clone like kind of like melted back into a real shadow. But now I maybe do a superhero pose. Who knows? I do this, and then like the shadow that was just like of some lady like stumbling away towards the exit suddenly goes like this, and then like jumps up.
Absolutely, they're gonna kind of come out suddenly at her. Let's have you make that hit it with all you got.
Yay. Okay, let's see. What do I do? Shadow clone.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember what I did last time. Oh, I have another power tag now for Shadow Meld, but I don't know if it works. I actually wanted to check in with you. It's called.
Go ahead.
It's called Shadow Cage, but I realized that it's not because this is a mobility.
Yeah, I don't think it's appropriate for the mobility thing.
Okay, I will think of something else then. I can't really think of anything, so.
Like Speed of Night, something like that.
Speed at night?
Speed of Night, like play on Speed of Light.
Speed. Sorry for the typing sound. Speed of Night, great. I will use that.
Okay, because the shadows move fast.
Yeah, like seemingly faster than before. Probably because I'm mortified. And I'll still go with the weakness if it calls for me. Because why not? Okay, hit it with all I've got.
Wow! So you kind of shake that off. You see her, and you're kind of a little bit angry, and those shadows come in and they smash into her like the clones just smash into her, and she goes out. She drops. And you have laid her out on the floor, unconscious.
Wait, do I get to catch the Fabergé eggs? Like, does she have any more?
Yeah, you've got those 2 picks, so you can if you want to control the collateral damage, you can keep her goods, her ill-gotten gains from breaking anywhere.
Yes, I would like to do that.
Okay.
Excuse me. I don't know why I care that much about them, but
yeah, you're still a cop. You still want to serve and protect, right?
Yeah.
And Anastasia is out. You've gotten the jewels back together. Her brownie like servants that you scared at the first, they're like, we're gone out of here, and they've like made their way to the back rooms. These henchmen that she brought with her are unconscious. Kolshi is not getting up. He is out. Do you like stay for a photo op, which will be forgotten in the mist, or do you take these people with you, or do you leave them? What do you want to do?
I guess I start rounding up all of these unconscious people, and
You figure probably the two you need to worry about are Anastasia and Kolshi. The others probably are boosted by them.
okay, yeah.
So, yeah. Irene, Kyle can grab up Anastasia. Do you pull Kolshi off the floor?
I think I'll unstick Kolchi from the floor.
Okay.
And I will basically drag him, because I don't care if he bumps on stuff and is additionally injured. And I will look over at Kyle as come over and say, "You sure you got her there, big guy?"
I turn around to to Callie, and I like do like a fist bump thing. If you go for it.
Nice. And Callie, as they're taking the two big bads out of here, even as the people are kind of getting out for the evacuation, the cops are trying to get in. What do you do?
I think I grabbed Azita's hand. Is Azita nearby at this point? Did she quark back?
Sure.
I think I just grabbed your hand and I'm like, we never did this. We were evacuating like everybody else. Run. And we just like mixed into the crowd immediately.
And I think we're like crying outside, like, "Oh no, what happened?"
Oh, my beautiful dress.
And you're on news at 11. We see your sister come running over to where you're at and checks on you to make sure you're okay. I looked for you everywhere and I couldn't find you. And it was all this. I don't know what was going on in Mad Men and cats and dogs. I don't know. And she's hugging you, very liberally on camera.
We gotta talk about these hugs, but I think I just hug her and I'm a little uncomfortable about it. There's a lot of interaction and I haven't seen her in a while, but I'm going for it for now. I'm just looking at Azita like, save me.
And she says, "I don't know where my fiance went. He was just around here a little while ago."
Oh no.
I'm going to cut from that. What are you up to, Azita?
So I think Azita is watching this touching thing, and like Callie says, "Help me." And I think Azita's like, smiling and, this looks heartwarming, and kind of turns her back and starts to walk back into the crowd looking for Kyle and the others.
And Irene?
Yeah.
Okay. I will assume that if you wish, we can kind of cut wipe to back at the warehouse. Does that seem fair? With Anastasia and Kolshi tied up and restrained, and you have successfully captured them. Callie, do you eventually come back to the warehouse?
I want to hear more about this fiance.
Okay, there's this moment where you're afraid is Kolshi, and then she goes, "Oh, there's Chad." And you gestures, and you see this guy come up. "Hey,
no, goddammit." Okay, of course it's Chad.
Square-jawed, blonde, hi.
Oh yeah, she would. Hi, Chad. I'll catch up in a minute, and I'll say, I have to make some calls or whatever, and I just run away back to the base.
Okay. So I think we're at the point where we can kind of move to epilogues here, if we may, or final scenes. Are you guys good with that? Azita, we just kind of came off of you kind of fading into the crowd, let's hear your epilogue here. Either immediately after or in the near future after this.
Yeah, so I think that what we see is it's almost like there's it's almost like it's in a different darkened warehouse, and there's a light shining down, and we see the tied up Anastasia and other guy. What's his name?
Kolshi the Deathless.
Koshi. And we see the two of them kind of tied up, and there's a circle of robed figures. And I think that Azita's kind of pushed into the center, and she says, I don't know exactly what was happening, but and then starts to tell her story about this is what they did, this is what happened, and you see kind of there's this judgment going on. And Azita's really nervous, which, usually she's full of bravado and has like a chip on her shoulder, and we're seeing kind of a what is it? She's witnessing at a trial for these two.
Oh, so there's some sort of riffs that have assigned themselves as a justice system here?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. I like that. That's particularly dark and ominous. What about you, Callie?
I will say that somebody snapped pictures of the confrontation during the thing, and the way that the mist twisted it was that Koshi was trying to grab Irene from the crowd, and it looks like I'm just like pulling him back, like just a regular brawl, like I'm just attacking this guy who was attacking another woman. Then it just boosts up her whole image as she was building up, first by bringing Azita and making her seem like a charity case, and then it boosts her to a position where she can move her charity work from the shadows into the spotlight.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and make that her main thing. And she decides to grow closer to her sister. She always felt she was too complacent with Mother, and that drove them apart. But she decides to be a good sister to try to convince her that their mom is toxic and they need to get on it.
And you will find that Chad is a reasonably good fit because your sister has him wrapped around her finger, and she's super nice, and Chad kind of does whatever she says, and he's harmless, which is something of a relief to you.
Well, honestly, that's the most you can hope for these days.
And Irene, what about you?
Let's see. I think on Irene's end, I think you see her. She's driven back to her apartment, and she's parked the bike in the garage. She specifically pays for a space in the garage that is almost nicer than her apartment.
Okay.
For that bike, and see her get off. You see her like set her helmet down on the handlebars of the bike, and she looks over at the seat in the particularly in the storage compartment. I think she opens it up, looks in. The badge is still there, and I think she nods and smiles and closes it again. And you see her walk out of the garage, and the spotlight stays on the bike.
And what about you, Kyle? You who have been changed so much by what has happened.
I think it's like an alleyway somewhere in the city. It looks like I'm running from something, and then I like spot like shadows cast by this like giant garbage can, and I like reach and I disappear into it. And then the next, I think the next panel is just me like standing in the darkness, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. And then from the darkness, emerges Baba Yaga, and she says, "I always said I'd be back."
Absolutely. There are things you could still learn. I think we'll cut there, which is pretty awesome for me. It was a session that was a big fight, as we do in superhero games. So I apologize that was sort of the whole of the session, but I think it resolves some things. I would like to take a few minutes to do the kind of stars and wishes, the things that you want to point to in terms of play that you dug, other people's play or things you saw in the game, even system stuff, but doesn't necessarily have to be. Let's go in the same sort of order, just the sort of point to stuff you dug. Steven?
So start with things I enjoyed.
Yeah, let's do that
Great.
first.
So so I enjoyed the weakness tags. That's something I always like in games. I think during the first session I went in and I was like, oh, let me add a bunch of these because I like that. I also liked, so it's got a lot of different pieces of games I like. It's, of course, it's powered by the apocalypse. It has the tags are a lot like aspects.
Mm-hmm.
The templates where you have these different cards that you kind of piece together to get your character reminds me of Danger Patrol, an old game by the same guy who did Blades in the Dark.
Oh, okay. Now that you say that, I'm not going to remember his name, am I?
But it basically, you start out with your character sheet, and it's all of these tropey things like robot and atomic and scientist, and you tear them in half, and you fit them together. And in this case, you have like these slew of cards that you kind of fit together, and you say, "Oh, I'm in this case, speedster, hipster, divine character," and you get to fit all of these things together. I like that. That's really nice.
Okay. Louise, things you want to point to, play-wise, other people's play, things that you saw at the table, system-wise. What do you want to point to, you dug?
Okay, so first, lots of stars to you, Lo. You were always keeping me on my toes. When I thought the story was going a certain way, you would always surprise me, and I was like, no, why? And I thought it was really cool. You really wrapped everybody's story into the big noir thing that was happening. Like, I was afraid that I was pulling away from the theme too much when I started going Gossip Girl on it, but you really made it fit the genre we were going for.
It's perfect to raise the stakes. It was you gave me such good stuff to work with.
Thank you. I'm so overwhelmed. I'm the worst person to do stars and wishes because I like to do very specific, but I'm just gonna say that everybody played great. I loved all these characters. They were very well fleshed out. Even the ones who were taken from the pre-gens, everyone gave them their own flavor. About the system, I think it's super clunky. I liked a lot of it, but it's a lot of it. It's like so much stuff. I could barely remember all of it. But and it's got no index.
we'll come back to that on the wishes here in a second. But I'm glad you dug it. Let's come to you, Chris. Anything you want to point to that you particularly dug? Yeah, I think you're muted, Chris.
I think I glitched out for a second too because I lost a second of video. Sorry about that. I really, really, really dig the system. As far as it brings in bits of Powered by the Apocalypse, which I really like. It brings in bits of Fate, which I really, really, really like. I really love Fate. So that plays right into my wheelhouse as far as game structures go. But there's some clunkiness in how many different moves there are and how many of them directly overlap with each other with not a whole lot of distinguishable space. I play-wise, like I really, really dug all the characters. I was surprised and I thought it was really cool the interplay that Kyle had with Baba Yaga. I thought that was really awesome.
Yeah, that was great.
That played out so well. And I mean, I was kind of a sucker for the Gossip Girl business in the middle with the punk princess and the angry and the angry socialite. I thought that was great.
Awesome. Agatha, anything you want to point to that you really dug?
Yeah, I first of all, I really liked the combat. I thought that was very fun. I think this system feels like it was made for combat more than anything else. And I thought it was fun. I think a huge part of it was because I got to do shadow clones. And it just fulfilled my Naruto wishes. But I like that. I think one thing that I really like is the juice thing. I've never played any Fate, like any games in the Fate system before, but I like that I could give this to someone else, and it's just like a very Like, I guess in other games you could technically also do that, but this is just very clearly laying it out for you. So then you can be like, okay, then I want to do this. And I like that there's like an aspect of teamwork, which kind of makes sense for this kind of a game. And I really like the interplay between Kyle and Azita. Actually, I liked the vibe. It was like I don't feel like I see it a lot in RPGs that I've played so far, which is like this like mentor mentee kind of thing, and it was just I really enjoyed it. I found it really wholesome. I also enjoyed the Gossip Girl vibes. I really enjoyed the outfits that Louise posted in the chat. That was great. And anytime there's like a sartorial aspect to a game, I'm like, yes. And I liked the interactions between Kyle and Irene as well. I feel like it constantly feels like they're like on different like wavelengths. Like Kyle is on this like I'm an emo, not emo, but like I'm like this like sad and like melancholic detective from a noir, and Irene is just like, joke's on you, bro. Is the vibe that I got, but it was it was enjoyable. Yeah, I feel like every PC had a dimension to them that was pretty interesting. I think like what Louise said.
Yeah, I have to agree on everyone on all that stuff, and I will tell you that sartorial thing. That is something that this piece of advice that Sherry gave me about 10 years ago. She said, whenever you have a scene and you don't know what to say, ask them how they're dressed. And I will tell you that is some of the best GM advice I ever got. Always give people a chance to describe how awesome they look. And I try to if they always try to do that, because, and especially when there's scenes where you have a chance to play, dress up, because I like I love games where you get to dress up and change your character's clothing and all that stuff. So being able to do that in an RPG is something I dig, very much so. I loved everybody's characters. These last two sessions, I will say the first couple of sessions I ran of this, and it is clunky. I was really uncertain. Like I walked away going, I really like the characters, I really like the play, but there's something about the system that isn't quite clean. These last two sessions we had, I was like, it can work. We can get the space to play because you guys knocked it out of the park. Everyone's scenes, the Kyle scene with Baba Yaga, Irene and Kyle afterwards, Azita's interactions with Callie and Callie's interactions with Mom, all just so good. It's what I love. I love that kind of stuff. But I also like a good fight. I like a good superhero fight that has a brawl that we can break all kinds of things and have all kinds of special effects. So there's all my stars. Anything anybody wants to point to as wishes, things we would like to have seen more of, or anything else you want to say? Any last words? Steven?
Yeah, so I actually had, like, as far as the system goes, we played 4 sessions, and I still have like 4 or 5 questions about how things actually work.
Yeah.
I feel very thankful that we had Roll20 because I think that helped quite a bit. The cards and all that kind of stuff where you could click things off was super helpful. The other thing I noticed is we tried it a little bit, but I didn't get much of a noir feeling.
Yeah.
I liked I think it was in the 3rd session, you started off by asking a question that helped like start the session with more of a noir feeling. And I liked that, but the system itself or the setting itself didn't seem to pull a lot of that in.
Yeah, it feels to me like it wants to have the noir trappings, but I'm not sure that as everything plays up, it's so kind of over the top. I think you have to work at it. And if I were going to do this as a long campaign, I think we'd have to figure out how to lean into it. I think that's a really astute observation.
Yeah.
Louise, anything you want to point to?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up from what Steven was saying. I don't even know what half this stuff does. I'm like, I didn't investigate once, and I have no clues, and I don't have a clue what clues do. And there's all these tags, and it's like status, and it can be I get juice. I'm not sure on story tags, and I'm like, I just
Story
felt
tag,
overwhelmed.
there's all these things that are functionally the same thing that have all these different names. And it's one of the things that I find really difficult is that go toe to toe, change the game and hit it with all you got are all kind of doing the same thing, but in different contexts with different fallouts. And it feels really inelegant and confusing. And I think you're right.
My takeaway from it is basically that I want to do City of Mist Light, whereas start slicing away until it's just a very simple system. Because I love the concept behind it, but it just feels like it's too much work. I just want to play a super cool, like fiction possessed character roaming the dark streets at night.
Yeah, the concept is dynamite. And I think that pushes it through. I think you're right there. Chris, anything you want to say?
I think I'll echo some of the same issues. I mean, you have a lot of the moves overlap, and so we hardly ever use some of them, even though like they sound, when you read the description of the move, it sounds like, oh, well, this is what we're doing. But then you read the move and you're like, oh no, I don't just want to trade shots with them. I want to actually accomplish something, which means it has to go to one of the other moves. So it's not almost never going to be toe to toe in most combat scenes that I would think you want to engage in. Like the toe-to-toe move would always seem to give way to something like change the game or something like give it all you got. I mean,
yeah. One of the things I suspect is part of the design space is that because you've got these different powers that then have the different improvements, and some of the improvements relate to specific moves, that they need to have that many basic moves so they can differentiate on that. Like it seems to me that's part of the reasons that they kind of fractalize that.
I mean, I like the fact that it gives you the shot at like, oh, well, I get this cool thing I can do with this one specific move that other people can't really do. And that's really cool. But
yeah,
also it gives you 50,000 different basic moves. And that's kind of unwieldy.
This is one of Rich's assessments for PbtA games is too many moves. That's how he will put it to me. Agatha, I'm going to give you the last word.
Yeah, I do have. I think one of my wishes was that the investigation was more satisfying. Maybe this is some kind of assumption that I made about the game, but I thought it was more of an investigative game, and I feel like the moves, there seem to be a couple that are like that, but I feel like I don't know what it is. Like a lot of times when we were investigating a lot, I think in the second session, but it felt like we weren't moving forward a lot in the plot.
Yeah, the clues are really, each clue is a question. But because they define it and they call them clues and so on, it doesn't make it clear. These are the kinds of PbtA style questions. They don't give good examples. They don't provide any structure for it, so it feels very nebulous.
Yeah, I feel like there was a while when it felt like it felt to me like we were like wandering around, like trying to figure things out, but not really getting anywhere. Even like, because like there were two of us that interrogated Baba Yaga, and I feel like it felt like maybe it would have been like, it made more sense if just one of us did it and then one of us went and did something else. But I'm not really sure, right? Like I don't know. Like I think there's just a lot where I'm like, I don't know if it's supposed to be like this because I don't really understand this game.
Well, and I will say some of that's down to the design of the investigation on my part, trying to figure out what kind of investigation works for this. So there's something about the nebulousness. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Nebulousness of the investigation tools and me maybe not having a great setup to match with that. So I think that's solid.
Okay, yeah, maybe. I don't know. And also like the way that, story tags work. Like, I think because investigating, I think is supposed to lead to something like that. And then I just like, I think there was just a lot that was not in that like quick start thing. So then I'm just like, well,
Yeah.
Who knows what's happening?
I will say I am as we're playing. I'm filing the serial numbers off. There's a bunch of stuff, a lot more tags and things that are supposed to be on the table. So I will admit that part of the reason we're probably getting an incomplete picture is because I am going. I don't want to deal with, about 30% of these rules. So
Yeah, that's totally
some
fair.
of that's on me. So.
Okay, no, that's totally fair. I think, yeah, there was that. I think that was the part where I'm like, oh, I went in with a specific expectation, and then I was like, oh, but that's not what it is, and I want you to be better, game. Is how I felt.
No, I agree with you 100%. And now we got to figure out how to do Naruto with all this. So that's our next step. Okay. Thank you all very much for coming along with me on this ride. This is the second to last of my Gauntlet games for 2018. So this is great. Agatha, Stephen, Chris, played with you before, and it's a pleasure to play with you again. And Louise, I only played with you a little bit before, so it's nice to have you back and give you a chance to really develop your character and play. And so different from the character in the Worldwide Wrestling game. So that was awesome. Anyway, I'm going to stop the broadcast.